But our teacher, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Now, let's salute the Triple Gem, page 7. We do both in Pali and English. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava. The Blessed One is worthy and rightly self-awakened. Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. I bow down before the awakened Blessed One. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. The Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Dhammang Namasami. I pay homage to the Dhamma. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sankho. The Sangha of the Blessed One has practiced well. Sanghang Namami. I pay respect to the Sangha. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, and the rightly self-awakened One. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho. He is a Blessed One, a Worthy One, and a rightly self-awakened One. Vichacharana sampanno sukhato lokavidu. Consummate in knowledge and conduct, one who has gone the good way, knower of the cosmos. Anuttaro Puritsada Masarati Satta Deva Manutsana Buddho Bhagavati. Unexcelled trainer of those who can be taught, teacher of human and divine beings, awakened and blessed. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. The Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipatsiko. To be seen here and now, timeless, inviting all to come and see. Opanayiko Pachatang Veditapo Vinyuhiti. Leading inward, to be seen by the wise for themselves. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sankho. The Sangha of the Blessed One disciple who have practiced well. Uchupatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sankho. The Sangha of the Blessed One disciple who have practiced straightforwardly. Jaya Patipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sankho. The Blessed One of the disciple who have practiced methodically. Samyojana Patipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sankho. The Sangha of the Blessed One's disciple who have practiced masterfully. Yadidang Jatari Purisa Yukkani Atta Purisa Bukkala. This is the 4 pairs, the 8 types of noble one. Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sankho. That is the Sangha of the Blessed One disciple. Ahuneyo, Wahuneyo, Takineyo, Anjali Karaniyo. Worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offering, worthy of respect. Anuttarang punyaketa lokasati, the incomparable field of merit for the world. Just relax. We'll continue with Brahma Vihara Pawana. Sabbe Satta, may all living beings, Vera Hontu, be free from animosity. Appaya Pacha Hontu, be free from oppression. Anika Hontu, be free from troubles of all kinds. Sukhi Atanang Pariharantu, be protected for their own happiness. Sabbe Satta, may all living beings, Dukkha Pamucchantu, be free from stress and suffering. Sabbe Satta, may all living beings, Malatta Sampatito Vikachantu, may not be parted from their good fortune. Sabbe Satta, all living beings, Kammasaka, are the owner of their actions. Kammadayada, heirs to their actions. Kamma Yoni, born of their actions. Kamma Pantu, related through their action. Kamma Pati Sarana, live dependent on their actions. Yang Kammang Karisanti, whatever action they do. Kalyanang va papakang va, for good or for evil. Tatsata yata bhavisanti, of that they will be the heirs. Chara dhammomhi, I am subject to aging. Charang anatito, aging is unavoidable. Payati dhammomhi, I am subject to illness. Payating anatito, illness is unavoidable. Marana dhammomhi, I am subject to death. Maranang anatito, death is unavoidable. Sabbehi me piyehi, manapehi, nana bhavo, vina bhavo. I will grow different, separate from all that is very dear and delightful to me. Kammasakomhi, I will kammadhayado, heir to my action. Kamma yoni, born of my action. Kamma pantu, related to my action. Kamma pati sarano, and live dependent on my actions. Yang kammang garisami, whatever action I do. Kalyanang va papakang va, for good or for evil. Tatsatayado pavisami, to that I shall be the heir. Ewang amhei apinang pachave kitapang. That we should reflect on this. Aya meva kayo, this body of mine, utang patatala, from the sole of the feet up, ato kesa mataka, from the top of the hair down, tacha pariyanto, enveloped by the skin, purona napakarasa asuchino, is full of manifold impurities. Che kucho particulo, all of them are unclean. Tuwang chivitang, life is inconstant. Tuwang maranang, death is constant. Awatsang maya maritapang, surely we shall die. Marana pariyosanang me chivitang, life has death at the end. Chivitang me aniyatang, life is uncertain. Maranang me niyatang, death is certain. Anicca sankhara. All conditioned things are impermanent. Tang kuteta lapa. Because of this, how can they permanently exist? Let it be. Rupang anicchang. Well, it's not impermanent. Vedana anicca. Feeling is impermanent. Sanya anicca. Perception is impermanent. Sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. Vinyanang aniccang. Consciousness is impermanent. Rupang anatta. Form is not self. Vedana anatta. Feeling is not self. Sanya anatta. Perception is not self. Sankhara anatta. All conditioned things are not self. Vinyanang anatta. Consciousness is not self. Sabbe sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. Sabbe dhamma anatta. All natural phenomena are not self. Good afternoon again. You know, sometime in the evening, when I feel that, maybe I should do something about myself, so I start to sort of sit down, okay, and keep my mind sort of at ease and be where it should be. We call it composed mind. It should be here with the body. But when you think about it all day long, where was your mind? What will you think of all day? Have you ever thought of yourself? When we think about self, the body, this body, of course we have a body and a mind. The Buddha always talk about, when you breathe, you must be sure that that is what you are doing to your body, for your body, isn't it? How many times have you done that during the span of 24 hours for this thing that said, my body? Not much. Because, we eat when we get hungry, and most of the time, we don't eat because we need to eat. We eat because I want to eat the delicious food. If it's not delicious, I don't feel like eating it. Okay. So that's all we do. Eat when we get tired, we go to sleep, wake up, we're hungry, we eat 3, 4 times a day. That's all. And we actually do not take care of this body and mind very much. And, sometimes we're so afraid that, we look at obituary in the newspaper, that guy died, that guy died, that time. We thought about our own family, people has left us. So looks like we are going towards that direction. We were born and we're going to die. That's it. So what have you done, first of all, for this body and mind, let alone for anybody else? Okay. So, if you think about that, you said, man, what a waste of life. You haven't done anything. You were born, and right now, I'm 85 now, I'm going to be 85 pretty soon. The time flies so fast. And what have I done up to now? Have you ever asked yourself that? What have I done? What have I done for anyone, for anything, for any at all. When you come to think about this, what have you done for anything, for anyone? When Buddha always taught us this, if you're going to do something, make sure that you know that there's a fruits and benefit. Fruits and benefit. For example, if you want to, you go to nursery and you saw, I did that. I saw a banana tree. So you said, oh yeah, that looked good. I'm going to grow banana so I can have fruits, okay? So the first thing that you want, if you want to do something, is to get some fruit, something out of it. We call the fruit, the Buddha called it pala. Pala is fruit, okay? So you can have you looking for the fruits. And what is the fruit going to do for you? Banana. If the banana bear fruits and you let it drop and I have done my job. I grow a banana tree, now it bear fruits. Is that it? Of course not. Then you have to eat it, right? So the benefit is from eating the fruit that you have sown or you have grown. So you do something, you expect fruits, and then benefit of that, which actually is the law of karma. If you do something, you can have an effect. If you have done a good job, you can have a good effect. So you have grown a good banana, put a lot of fertilizer, it will come out plenty and sweet and so on and so forth. What is the benefit of eating banana? Banana is the most popular fruit in the whole world. You know that? Because there's a lot of benefit in banana. We eat it every day. Okay? My wife and I. The first thing we eat is banana. And I even recommend people who come to eat lunch here, before you eat lunch, have banana. Pick up banana, eat banana first, and that will be the best for you, okay? Because there's a lot of things, read it up, find, Google it and see what is the benefit of banana. You'll be surprised, okay? So fruits and benefit, that is the thing that we always do. So what is the fruits and benefit that you were expecting coming here? Have you asked yourself that? What am I going to get? What kind of fruit am I going to get coming here? I want to meditate. What kind of fruit you going to get from meditation? What kind of benefit are you going to get from meditation? That's the key. So every single thing that you do, I want to do this. Why do you want to do that? What is the fruits that will come out of doing that? And what is the benefit of coming out from getting that fruit? You have no idea, don't do it. Okay? Very simple, right? So today, the topic that I'm going to talk about is the 10 fetters. Okay? Samyojana. 10 fetters. For one who did not have you won't have it because you're new. So for people who have, come here, get it. Did you bring your stuff? I sent it through the email to, just go ahead and do that. You need a copy to go through it? Yeah, if you need a copy, come here. Yeah, make a copy of this, okay? See, Samyojana, or the Fen, take a few and see if anybody else need to look at that, all right? But when we talk about fetters is something that really, it is a robe that holds us down in this miserable world. Just put it plainly, okay? It is miserable. This world is miserable. Why? It's all the stress from the time you were born. The Buddha told us that. Birth is stress. Old age is stress. Wait, when you get old, you're going to know that. Okay? And the time before you death. Associate with the one you don't like. It's miserable. I can guarantee you. Separate from one that you love is miserable. Okay? And then not getting what you want. How many times that you kind of disappointed because of frustrated desire? You want something, you don't get it. You wish for something, it doesn't come to your way. Sometimes, several times a day. You try to cook something good, it didn't come out that good. You get frustrated, right? You want to do a good work, but it didn't come out the way you wish. That's frustrated desire, okay? That leads to a lot of things. Sorrow, soka, pariteva, lamentation, tukka, physical pain, okay? Tomanatsa, upayasa, that mental distress, mental despair. All of this come in from those what we call dukkha. We want to get out of this thing, The Buddha said, you don't want to suffer. Don't get born. Don't be born. It's so true. Okay? If you were born, you suffer. That's it. Okay? So if you don't want to be born, you don't want to be suffering, don't get born. Don't be born. That's it. But how? So the Buddha said, look, you come here, okay? The final thing that you need to do, need to attain, to gain, to accomplish, to achieve is these 10 fetters here. You must get rid of them because they are the one that hold you here on this earth. You will be born, you're going to get old, you're going to die over and over and over and over. As long as it's 10 fetters still hold, they're the ropes. So that is the purpose of why you are here. Okay, so now you understand. We want to cut all this rope. So all this process, you come here and sit, try to keep yourself in what we call disciplinary rule, sila. Concentrate your mind so it stay put. It does not wander, become distressed, become restless. So you can gain what we call wisdom to understand what are these fetters that hold you here. So when you understand, it means that you have to gain wisdom. Wisdom has to be gained. Of course, when you listen to me, read the thing, listen to the sermon that Tanchagun gave us, that's because sutta maya panya. Sutta from hearing. Wisdom from hearing other people talk. It's not yours. You just borrow it for temporary. A lot of time, as when you walk out of this hall, you forget 90% of them. Okay? So sutta maya panya is a beginning. And then you reflect in your mind. Before I get to that, as I call him Tanchakun Ajahn. He is the abbot of Wat Somana Vihara. It's like a sister temple of this one. Tanchakun Ajahn said that when people come and listen to lecture or come and listen to the sermon, there are 4 things that happen to them. Could be one of those 4 things. When they listen, people who's listening, you're going to notice that, if you go to any kind of lecture hall, a big one, many people, okay, Some of them gonna fall asleep even before the lecture start. I've seen that because most of our medical seminar, okay, in the afternoon, usually, so when you sit there 1 o'clock, about 5 minutes after one, we look around, some of them just look gone after lunch, okay? So in this kind of thing, they call, when you listen and you sort of, in Thai called fang gop. Gop is just like the frog that kind of hibernate during the winter month. You're not going to see any frog anywhere during the winter month. They hibernate, okay? They don't eat, they don't do anything, okay? So there's a group of these people. So as soon as they get into lecture room, they were gone. So they bury everything right there, not getting anything, okay? That's the first thing. They're listening and bury it, okay? The second group of people, I think anything that listen, they bounce back from them back to the lecturer, okay? So it's rebound kind of thing. It bounce. So it's a lecture that bounce back to the one who give a lecture. So the person who listened didn't get anything. Okay, that's rebound kind of listening to the lecture. Okay, and then the third group is the one who keeps everything. Oh, they have a good memory. They memorize that. Okay, they keep all the lecture. They kept. Thai called kept. Kept, I mean to keep them. Okay, that's it. They don't do anything. They keep them. Someone asked them, "Did you go to the lecture today?" Yeah. What did he say? He can recite the whole thing. But that was it. So they keep them. But the fourth group, it's some kind of when they listen to it and arise the wisdom of their own. The wisdom. I get it. That's the reason why he gave this lecture, because so on, so on. He understood all those things. So กบฟังกลับฟังเก็บฟังเกิด That means you bury it from the beginning, okay? No not pay attention to it. And then you bounce it back to the lecture. The third group keep them all, but nothing further. And the fourth group arise wisdom from it, okay? That is a group that I want all of you to be, all right? So as soon as you hear all these, we're going to get right into it. The first one in Pali called Sakaya Titi. Okay, these are kind of what we call defilements. Defilements that are so refined, it does not show up in everyday's life. It's just like a fine dust that stay deep in the recess of the mind. It only arises when being stirred. Okay. What is the thing that we talk about Sakaya Titi? This is a wrong view concerning the self-identity. Sakaya, it means personality, existing body. I have this existing. Titi, wrong view. A wrong view of having a body. It belongs to me. It belongs to this self. Okay, that's Sakaya Titi. Including everything in and of this body. So what is in and of this body? The body have to feel, right? So the feeling belongs to me too. I feel it. That's my feeling. I love that. That's my feeling of love, my feeling of hate, my. It belongs to me, okay? My perception also, it's mine. It belongs to me, okay? My thinking, my thought belong to me. my awareness, my consciousness, and everything so forth. So we talk about the five aggregate belong to me. Remember the five aggregate? Rupa, body of form. Vedana, the consumption of feeling. Sanya, perception, memory. And sankhara, the way that we make up thing, concoct thing, or fabricate thing. And then vijnana, acknowledgement of thing that you have, it come through to your eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. 6 door, okay? So those are the 6 door that come in, give you vijnana of the 6th sense, okay? So they think that this is all my Sakaya Titi, wrong view of self-identity. Everything about self belong to me. Do you think you can stop getting old for 1 minute, your body? Tell, I don't get old. I don't want to get old. When your body feel pain, I said, no, I don't want to feel pain. Go away. Does the pain go away? So how could you say the thing that never listened to you, thing that never follow your wish is yours? I think that one, yeah. So since they're not yours, you can prove that they're not, it doesn't belong to you. So, it's kind of foolish, isn't it? In other words, it's the delusion of thinking everything about this 5 part, 5 pie, 5, whatever it is that make up this body belong to me. That kind of strange, okay? So that's Sakaya Titi. See, when you look at this, when you say, this body is mine, this body is mine, okay? I have to do everything the best I can to take care of this body, isn't it? That's what we do every single day, right? In the morning, we raise the refrigerator. I want to eat something good to make this body going. At lunch, the same thing. In the evening, we go find a good restaurant to eat, to pamper this body. That is craving. That's tanha. It comes from craving to make this body beautiful, make this body strong. Of course, it's fine, The body is just a body made up of 32 parts. We all know that. 8 hair, body hair, nail, teeth, and skin, so on, and to the urine and feces. They all belong to us. Yeah? But the thing is this, everything fall off from you doesn't belong to you anymore. I hate that. If you have a piece of hair fall on your soup, I don't want to eat that. Take it away, right? We all have that. Try this. When you eat, chew it real good, spit in your plate, scoop it back up and eat it again. Would you do that? Why? See, this is how we think. How crazy is that? When the things just out from your body, it's ugly, it's no longer attractive to you. Okay? So that is a wrong view in terms of craving. And then this is who I am. Okay? This is who I am. Who is this guy? Earlier I said, look at my picture earlier. I said, that guy is not me. He looks so young. It was 40 years ago. And then, everything is look, that's not me. There's no way it can be me. Okay? And then you say, no, yeah, it's me. No, you don't. So you keep arguing with yourself, okay? That is because you have what we call conceit, mana, excessive pride in yourself that, that is me. And sometimes you even compare to the one next to you. I'm better than you. You know that? See? If not, you have inferiority complex. I'm not as good as him. Or sometimes even I can be as good as him. So all this measuring up is no good. Whether you are better, whether you are inferior to him, or you are as good, they are measuring up. And some people said, how many jhana have you reached yet? This is among meditator, okay? When you get to jhana, yeah, I got the first level of jhana. No, I got second level now. So, it's kind of thing that we have all these things. That is one of these, what we call feathers. Okay, we're going to get to that in a minute. And then the third one, is this is what I am. When you said this is what I am, what I am. This is skin, this is nail, this hair, that's all I am. Yeah, kind of strange. People have a different way of thinking. When you look at yourself, and this is the way that I sometimes, in the mid 2015, I came to my peak. That's when my mind was so clear. I can see everything. Many times when I was meditating, blurt out laughing because I can see myself in such a foolish way that I couldn't have thought that I can't even think of anyone can think that way. You will come to the point that you look at yourself, why am I so ugly in thinking like that? Okay? But you come to that point, you're going to see that, man, this is not who I am. I can be better than this. And then when you strive further to get to a better step up further, a ladder for your, what we call liberation. Okay. And, some people say, you don't think. Actually, there is certain way of thinking during meditation. Thinking in a way that you're seeing the thing the way it is in your own mind. Whatever you want to see. But before we get to that, we will talk about that when they come to the second part of this hour. Okay. So this is Sakaya Titi. To me, is the most important thing on my aspect, on my part. When I can, if I could overcome this step, everything is a breeze. This is the most difficult thing. To get rid of this atta. This is who I am, what I am, this is what I made up of, or I own, whatever it is. Atta. That's the reason why the first day when the Buddha gave the first sermon, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, to the five ascetics, only one can really see the stream. They said, yeah, I can see the light now. The other four didn't. But the second lecture, Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, how to determine the characteristic of anatta or atta. All five of them became Arahant. So it is the most not only complicated, sophisticated, and profound teaching that anyone can overcome, to surpass that. You get the first step, So this is the first fetter that you must get rid of, okay? So anytime you look at yourself and say, this is who I am, what I am, who I am. So you go look at these five aggregate. Is the body is really you? Vedana really you? Sanya really you? Sankhara or Vijnana is it really you? If you can say that no, it's not, now you can go further, okay? Once you can get over this atta or sakaya, this is my body. This is my feeling, this is my perception, this is my consciousness, this is my thought, so on and so forth. Okay? If you can do that, then everything start to, almost like the road start to be paved. You could get in a smoother walk now. Your journey can be much better. So the first one is the most important, most difficult one, right? So I'm going to go to the second one, Vichikicha, skeptical doubt. What kind of doubt would you have? Okay, doubt about, oh, there's a lot of doubt. But most thing that we talk about, doubt about the Buddha. Was there really a Buddha? The Dhamma, was the Dhamma or the truth that the Buddha has discovered? Or Sangha, was there really a noble disciple that has passed on down all this teaching to us? And doubt about the past, about the future, doubt about many things, the way that the way we practice. Sometimes we practice and am I doing right? Am I sitting right? Am I breathe right? Those kind of doubt arise all the time, okay? Those are the things that it's easier. If you go back and read, reread what the Buddha has taught us, then all this doubt going to be gone, okay? But sometimes we don't do that. When we have doubt, sometimes we say, oh yeah, I think this is what he means. This is what the Buddha means. So I'm going to make my own mind to follow what I think he means, okay? So no, go back and look at it. See, I have this basics Anapanasi written by one of the most famous, the most profound master in meditation, Puttadasa Bhikkhu. Okay. There's only 243 pages. He explained this 16 step of Anapanasi. Explained in 243 pages. I read it in the past 20 years, more than 100 times. I wrote everything. I re-explain myself what it means, that word, so on and so forth, because the combination of Thai and Pali. Because every time I have a question, I open up the book and reread that, okay? So once you do this, eventually that doubt fades away. So make sure that you go to the original. That's the reason why I memorized Anapanasi in Pali. Satipatthana, the Four Foundation, Mindfulness in Pali, all of them. If I can memorize that every time I have a question, I go right back. Oh, that's what he said. This is what it means. And go on, okay? So that doubt is this thing. But sometimes when you think about doubt concerning the time phrase, doubt about, was I in the past? Am I in the present here? Will be I in the future? Those kind of doubts sometimes, it really make you crazy. What was I in the past? I would say stop. Because that kind of thinking, that kind of reflecting is no use to anyone, okay? Just remember this thing. When they talk about when you look at a picture of yourself 30 years ago, that guy's already died. That guy's already dead. It's already gone. You're here right now. The past is a past. The past is gone. It's an end right there. The present is here. That's when you say the present is already in past. So the present is no longer here. It will be the future. The future come, it's become a present and become the past. So keep on and on and on like that. So there's no point of thinking about, will I be Jerry in the future? That's crazy. It can't be because the present stopped right here. The past stopped right there. The future will be ending in the future. So there's no thing that passes on from one to the other. It's end, then arise, end, and arise, and end. That's it. Okay? So now when you get rid of this vichikicha, your mind can be so clear that you think, man, why am I wasting my time thinking about what I'll be in the future? If I'm going to do something, I expect to have fruit and benefit. If I do good job, I'm going to get a good fruit, I'm going to get a good benefit, and be firm with that. Because you are confident in the law of karma. That's it. So you have sattha. Okay? So sattha is the first one you must develop yourself. When you see all this, I don't care about this past, future, so on and so forth. I'm really confident in what I do. I do good, I get good. I do evil, I get evil. That's it. So once you get rid of this, we go to the next one. Silapata parama. Sila, of course, moral conduct. Okay. Pata, awata. It means that to observe, to perform, to practice. Para masa is to attach, cling to the performance of moral conduct. But this is kind of wrong clinging. It's clinging and believing that by just doing the ritual, the ceremony, the way to perform all these things, then you can be enlightened. Okay? Which is the way that many of those Brahman in the old time did that. They torture themselves, they feel that, and they keep chanting all these things over and over, day and night. They said that's the way they can get them to be delivered. But that's not the way, okay? You have to do something. You have to act. Your own deed, that's what put you what you're supposed to be doing, okay? So Sila Pata Parama is the one that kind of are clinging to the old-fashioned way of, I would call, torturing yourself. Okay, and they said I can be released that way. So that is a third one of the fetter. If you can overcome that, the next one is tough. The first three is the first one is the most difficult for my part. If we can overcome that, the second and third is much easier. We come to the fourth one. This is another step. Kama raka. Kama actually means sex. Okay? Of course, sometimes when you read, but in the Dhamma text, they're going to use the word sensual. But nothing sensual pleasure can match sexual pleasure. And human beings are all like that, okay? We always try not to face, when I went, one thing remind me, I went to synagogue sometime, okay? They were so open about all these things, which I admire about them, okay? I admire about, when they talk about the sex, thing like that, it's like, and when you think about, sometime right now, of course, when brother and sister have sex, then they go incest, right? But in the ancient time, how many brothers and sisters married? Plenty of them. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But then we change our what we call ethic or morality code and said, of course it's wrong in the way that you can mix up your genetic code and make it even worse, okay? But in the old time, they thought opposite. By keeping that gene, by marrying brother and sister, that gene going to be only in their family. They don't sort of distribute to any other people. That's the way they think. So that the time of thinking in its different phase. Okay, and just like when you ask what is the view of a homosexual, the Buddhist view. Well, it's just something that is not natural. That's it. We have men and women that come together so we can reproduce. That's it, right? But if a man and another man and woman, another woman want to be together, so first of all, whose business is that? Secondly, I don't know if even Bible say that it's really wrong. It's really a sin. I maybe I'm ignorant about that, okay? But I can't find that. So I do believe that the way we make up things that cause us more problem than it is, right? So Kamaraka is one of the things that, we have sexual hormone, both male and female, that being produced until we are 80, then it stopped producing, or even before that. This is when the growth hormones start to reduce, all these sex hormone, all those things start to, kind of die down. So you don't feel like you need to have those kind of things anymore. So, but during the sexual period, they're going to have that. That's the reason why the Buddha said, you can have sex, but if you feel that, you violate the other person, that is wrong. Okay? That's it. So that's the sexual misconduct coming out. But, Kamaraka, you're going to have that. So when you feel that, or when you see that this body, okay, this body is just simply made up of the four elements: the earth, water, fire, and wind or air, okay? These four elements plus consciousness. So when the consciousness add on to these four elements, and of course they put another space, the sixth element made up to be us here. They're just an element and space and consciousness. So when you come to that point of realizing that's who you are, just the elements, that's when all these, what we call sensual or sexual lust will start to die down. But you have to advance in your step of meditation up to the point of, I will call anakami, non-returner, okay? So that is kind of tough, kind of hard. But anyone who has anything that realize that this body that needs sex is just simply the six elements, then you said, hey, why do you need sex to be part of those things? Okay? Elements is like this rock, it's like this clock, it's like this wall. You don't need sex, right? So if we think like that, then sensual or sexual pleasure has no meaning. But that is a time when you have reached certain level of what we call Ariya nobility. Okay. So Kamaraka is top, right? The next one, Patika, even for me, even the worst for me, because I'm a person who's temper, kind of angry, easily angry. Patika means hit against. It means it's something hit against you. When it hit, just touch you, you become very, very sensitive and then irritable, even defensive. And then it sort of escalated into gota, that's anger. Yeah. Hit against, escalate to anger, okay? And then escalate to dosa, ill will and hatred. And then go to animosity, that want to take revenge. Okay. So that is, so this is the thing, you know, I used to tell a story when I was in first year in New York. I worked in one place, in one hospital in Queens, and in Manhattan, that's Mount Sinai. In the evening, I have to come back and stay in Elmhurst in Queens, which take a few stop of subway. In the morning, it's fine, everyone is fresh, smell pretty good. But in the evening, subway in New York City is very crowded. And I'm small, I'm short, and when I have to hold on to the rail next to the guy who's 6'3", 6'4", I was just right at his armpit. Okay? So, every evening, just like that. So I was being hit against by this smell, by the scent, which is not very pleasant at all in the afternoon and the evening. So, I get very frustrated every evening. Sometimes I wait until 8 or 9 o'clock before I left Mount Sinai and go back to Elmhurst General Hospital because I can't bear to smell all those things and being hit against, okay? So I realize this very well. Being hit against, just like when you are in a crowded place, someone hit you. You didn't mean that because it's so crowded, but you become irritable and then become angry, become rage, become ill will and hatred, and so on and so forth. Okay? That's how it's escalated. So Patika is one of the top line in the first 5 feathers. And these 5 feathers, we even call them the lower level of feathers. You have to do this. The first 3 feathers, if you can overcome that, you being elevated into what we call Sodapana, the stream enterer. You have entered the stream of Nibbana, the first 3. If you lessen the next 2, Kamaraka and Padika, you become the second level, become Sakata Kami, the once returner. You have to return to this birth one more time. Okay? And if you have totally, permanently eliminate the 5 first feather, we call the lower feather, then you become Sakata Kami. Okay? No, become Anakami. Anakami, that is the non-returner. You no longer come back. Okay? So to eliminate the second two, the third and the fourth and the fifth parika, you have to become the Anakami, the non-returner. So it's kind of tough, it's kind of difficult, okay? From the 5th on, that is way too defined. We talk about rupa raka, rupa, form, raka, cling, obsessed with form realm. It means that when you have meditate into what we call formless, okay, we have four form realms and four formless realm in the way of meditation. The first realm of jhana, do you remember what we have? Virga, that is first thought of the object. Vichara, sustain and evaluate the object, okay? And then piti, rapture, excitement, joy, and then sukha, serene pleasure, serene bliss, and then ekakata, one-pointed. Your mind is so still and so concentrated, it does not wander, okay? So if you get these five states in, you have entered the first jhana. And after you have done this for a while, the first two steps of jhana, vidaga and vichara, become kind of irritable in itself. It's crude. It bothers the mind. So the mind will let it go. Don't need it. Don't need that vidaga, vichara. So you have only piti, sukha, and ekata. You enter into the second jhana. Okay? And then even piti, the excitement of joy, it bothers the mind. So it just let it go. So you have sukha and ekakata, that's the third jhana. And then when you drop sukha, you get into the fourth jhana, okay? But it adds what we call ubekha. Ekakata and ubekha, that is the fourth jhana. All right? So when you get to that point, the mind is oblivious to all, practically all senses. Okay, that's why the reason why when people go into what we call neva sanya yatana, the neither perception nor non-perception, the sphere of that, people lose their perception of everything, and the old Brahman thought think that they have reached Nibbana. Okay, but it's not true, right? So that is a first form. The second form, you have to enter into the sphere of what we call space, the the sphere of space. The, the second form is the sphere of consciousness, okay? And the third one is a sphere of nothingness, akinchanya yatana. And the fourth one, and there was sanya, neither perception nor non-perception, the sphere of that. Once you enter this four sphere, then you have entered the level of this formless sphere. So that's what it's beyond most of us here. Okay. So the next five, rupa raka, clinging or obsessed with the form sphere. You have to enter into the fourth jhana. Okay. And then arupa raka, clinging to the formless realm. We saw all those sphere of nothingness, of the neither perception or the consciousness or space. And then the third one, mana, okay? The eighth one. Mana is, we talked about earlier, consist. It is something that, we always compare, measure ourselves with other people, which is not the way that we should do anyway. You do the best you can in your work, and after you've done that, you should be satisfied with that. The next one, uttacha, restlessness. And this is the most difficult, even in the, what we call the anakami. They still have this little restlessness in there, okay? So we're not going to talk about that. We haven't got there yet. And the last one, avijja, which is one of the most difficult to overcome. That is the lack of knowledge of the dukkha, lack of knowledge of the origin of dukkha, lack of knowledge of the ending of dukkha, and lack of knowledge of the path of practice leading to the ending of dukkha. So those are the avijja that we really need to look into it in detail. Okay. So those are the five fetters that once you have overcome those, that's gonna be your fruit. So that's how difficult it is. But it's not beyond any one ability. Okay. So let's take about a couple of minutes. We'll come back and I will sort of continue with what the question I posed on last email that I sent you. I said, if you want to meditate on Sripatan, how do you propose to do that? Okay, just stretch a little bit for a couple of minutes, and you can even do a little walking if you want to. You remember the walking meditation the last time we did that? Okay, because sometimes during the break you do the walking meditation. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. You can take your mask off because I can't hear very well. Okay, thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
When we learned about the five hindrances, the kamachanda, vyapada, the udatta kukucha, vichikita, and so forth. I recall the kamachanda was the most difficult hindrance to combat. Therefore, we need a upeka.
Just take the mask off. I can't hear you.
When we learned the five hindrances,
Yeah.
my understanding at the time of the lecture that kama chanda was the most difficult hindrance to overcome. Therefore,
Right.
we need a upeka to intervene, right?
To the
But
last
in
one,
this one,
ekakata.
ekagata,
Yeah.
ekagata. Well, then in this 10 fetters, udatta kukucha, udatta, it's more difficult to overcome than a kamachanda. So, but I can see that what kind of,
Yeah. All of this is a hindrance or the kilesa or the defilement, even the something like this. Because uttaja, you see it in the hindrance. Now you see it's in the fetters here. So they are a very difficult to get unless you have get into a complete what we call jhana. reality that people cannot realize or do not realize. That's what holds us here. That's avijja also. Not knowing the reality of who we are. Not only dukkha, okay? Not only lack of knowledge of dukkha, but lack of knowledge of the reality of who we are. That's also avijja. So that's why being mindful, this is what I am, this is who I am, this is how I am. As soon as you have that, be mindful of that who, what, where, when, why, whatever it is, I am. Then you could have your problem solved.
Right. I noticed that when we first started the elementary, I think the one of the topic was atta.
Mhm.
And so it's like we kind of have to learn about the atta before you learn
Anatta, that's right.
right?
You have to know yourself before you don't know not self.
Right. Okay.
That's why avijja coming in, you have to know. One is not knowing the Four Noble Truths. Second, not knowing the reality of who you are. That's also avijja. Lack of knowledge. It is kind of hard. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. All right. We got a few minutes, okay? Just like in the beginning, I talk about when we got to do something, we need to know why we're doing it. And that is exactly, Ajahn Puttatathā always talk about it. Just like Anapanasi, when he said, the Buddha, he explained why the Buddha said that. He said, look, if you gonna practice Anapanasati, what is Anapanasati gonna do for you? The breath meditation. What is it gonna do for you? Okay? He said, if you have, Anapanasati, Pikaway Bhavata Pulikada, if you have developed and pursue the breath meditation to great measure, you will bring on, or you will discover, or you will find what we call the full foundation of mindfulness. Right from the very beginning, if you have developed and pursue the breath meditation, you will develop the full foundation of mindfulness. If you have developed and pursued the full foundation of mindfulness to great measure, you will develop the 7 constituents of enlightenment, Poshanka, Satta Poshanka. If you've done the full foundation, you will develop the 7 factors of enlightenment. If you have developed and pursued the 7 factors of enlightenment, then you will develop what we call vicca, knowledge, and vimutti, release, deliverance. So from Anapanasati, if you go step by the way the Buddha taught us, you will reach the full foundation. You will reach the 7 factors of enlightenment. Then you will reach the knowledge, the supreme knowledge, and being released between Nibbana. So if we follow his teaching very slow, precisely, okay, to do this, he said, and how do you do the Anapanasati Pawana, development of breath meditation? Ita Pikaway Piku, look Piku, this discipline. Aranya Katowa, you may go to the forest. Ruka Mula Katowa, sit down on the root of the tree. Sunyakara Katowa, go to the empty building. Nisitati Balangang Apuchitwa, sit down with your leg crossed. Uchungayang Vanitaya, keep your body erect. Paritmukhang Sating Upatapetawa, establish sati, mindfulness in the front. Establish mindfulness in the front. Parimukhang sating upatapetawa. So satowa atsasati. With keen mindfulness, breathe in. With keen mindfulness, breathe out. That's it. It said keen mindfulness, breathe in. Keen mindfulness, breathe out. So what does it mean with keen mindfulness? What does it mean by sati? Sati is one of what we call cetasik. Cetasik is a faculty. Well, actually, it is the mind itself that has ability to stay with, not fly away, remembering the object that you are interested in. So it means at that moment, the mind transforms itself into sati. So sati is the mind. It is ability of the mind. It's a quality of the mind. It's a capability of the mind to make the mind stay where it is supposed to be there. If you're right here, your mind is at home. You don't have sati. You're not mindful. If you think about something else, even just split moment, your sati is lapsed. So sati is the most important part of our life. And you have to develop, strengthen this sati to become what we call the power of sati. Pala. Pala is power. Okay? You remember the 5 powers? Start with confidence, sattha, viriya, sati, samadhi, and panya. Sattha is confidence, viriya, effort, sati, mindfulness, samadhi, concentration, and wisdom, panya. All these 5, they are the faculty, dominant faculty in our life. If you go out, walk out of that door, if you don't have confidence that you can do your thing, you can do your work, go to work, you're going to be fired. Simple as that. If you do your work and you don't put effort in doing your work, you'll be fired. And if you do your work without being mindful, don't pay attention to your work, you'll be fired. And if you do your work and you don't concentrate on your work, you'll be fired. If you do your work without wisdom, you do your work kind of dumb, you'll be fired. So that it's dominant faculty in your life that we need. Confidence, effort, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. Remember these 5 things. The Buddha taught us from the beginning. It is a dominant faculty that we have to live our life in the world. The world only needs the winner. If you are a loser, get out. Very simple. Okay? And you require these 5 dominant faculties in yourself to make it. And if you have developed that into the 5 powers, so that's what you need to do. The Buddha said, when you do this, sit down and breathe in and breathe out with mindfulness. It means your mind will not forget the breath. you and I will not leave the breath anywhere. It will stay with the breath. Never leave your breath. And the not important thing is that if you don't breathe, and what happened to you? You die. So the breath is part of you. Okay? So the Buddha always said, when you pay attention to your breath, you pay attention to this body. Because inside this body, there's also the air or the breath. And you need to sort of what do you call that? Refill it every few seconds. If you don't refill your breath every few seconds, you die. Now we eat sometimes. Tanju Kun may eat only once a day. We may eat about 2-3 times a day. But everyone has to breathe every few seconds. That's how important the breath to this body. Okay? So never forget your body, your breath. It means that you never forget your body. So the breath is the body is the breath. That's it. Remember that when you are breathing in and out, I am breathing my life. Okay? So now go ahead. Just sit, keep your body erect, mindfully breathe in, mindfully breathe out. And then after you breathe for a while, sometimes the breath is long. Sometimes it's not very long. Sometimes it becomes very short. Just observe how the body breathes. Don't make it long. Don't make it short. Just observe that. Of course, your mind is not going to stay with your breath. It is not a habit. The mind is always sort of like to move around, never want to stay put, trying to look for something pleasant. That is the nature of mind. We need to understand that. So if the mind moves away from your breath, bring it back to your breath right away. Don't get frustrated. Don't get irritated. Pantanang japarang chitang, durakhandum nivarayang, ushungaroti metavi, usukarova deshanam. The mind is always restless. It's hard to control. It's hard to resist. But one who can subdue the mind and keep in place, it's going to be just like a flesher that can straighten the arrow. And while you are watching, observing the breath, just let the body breathe. In the beginning, it might be kind of uneven. And sooner or later, it starts to settle down. The breath might be a little more smooth. It could be longer, but kind of soothing. Also observe how the body react to some kind of breath. If you want to investigate it, you can go on and breathe in and out long for a couple of minutes. How long is it that you call long? If you use a second as your measurement, some people may breathe long, about 6 or 7 seconds. When you breathe in, count 1 to 7. Breathe out, count 1 to 7. Just trying your comfortable long breathing at this very moment. Stay with that for a little bit. Observe how the body react to this kind of long, soothing, smooth breathing. Does it seem kind of relaxed? At ease? Of course, we do not breathe long all the time. Sometimes the breath getting kind of short. You can experiment on a short breathing. Kind of test it to see what is short breathing going to do. So instead of breathe up to 7 seconds, maybe just 1 or 2 seconds. If you try that for a while, you should notice the difference between how the body reacts to the long and the short breathing. That's how we learn, by experimenting, by experiencing. The word experiencing in Pali called patisangvedi is very, very important, because everything else that the Buddha taught us, we must experience it ourselves. We just don't read the text, the scripture, or the teaching, and then we will get it. No, you won't get it. You only can get it when you have experienced it. So the experience, and then you get to know. We call that experiential knowledge. This is the knowledge that the Buddha wants all of us to have. Not from reading or listening or thinking, but experience them. So when you're at home, practice on long breathing for a few minutes, and then go to the short breathing for a few minutes. Observe how the body reacts to both kinds of breathing. When you realize or have the experience, knowledge of both the long and the short breathing, we can go to the real lesson that the Buddha taught us. Tikang wa asasato, tikang asasamiti pajanati. ทีฆังวาปัสสสันโตทีฆังปัสสสามิติปชานาติ When the in-breath is long, Bhikkhu knows I'm breathing in long. When the out-breath is long, Bhikkhu knows that I am breathing out long. Breathing in and breathing out long. Have you experienced that yet? When you experience the long in and out breath, what happened to the body? Observe that. That's what we call contemplate. Contemplate how the long breathing affects the body. When you're satisfied that you know through your experience how the long breathing affects the body, you can experiment on a short breathing until you experience how the short breathing affects the body. But in here, I'm going to use the term entire body. What does it mean, entire body? The body is made up of many parts, many systems, many groups of many body itself. The body in the body, system in the body, subsystem in the